All right, this afternoon I was on the treadmill listening to the Epic Economist, and the way he describes the near future is more than apocalyptic. It's frightening. And as I always like to say, if you're scared, you're not scared enough of what's going to happen within a few weeks. Once the inventory of cheap Chinese made goods runs out, and there's no way of making that stuff here, and there's one reason why that stuff isn't made here, and we all know that it's labor cost. Americans aren't willing to take 30 cents an hour. In fact, Americans, I would say that we should be pushing for a $50 minimum wage. When you look at the cost of food, transportation, and housing, a $14.75 Arizona minimum wage isn't cutting it. A federal minimum wage of $7.25 isn't cutting it. It's like not enough money to live off. When you look at what you really need in just a 40-hour work week, $50 is the new minimum wage. But everyone's going to look at you and say the same thing that the corporations have been shoving down our throats for decades. If we raise wages, then inflation goes up. Guess what? That doesn't have to be true. Scaring us with the boogeyman every time the proletariat complains about low wages and unfair working environments, they always tell you that it can't be changed. That's the system. That you need to become a higher level person, a higher earner. Like this morning after the gym, I went to go back to Salad and Go because I wanted to get their burrito and lunch salad because I haven't had it in a long time. And again, once you've had a bad experience at a place, you don't go back. But they were doing catering with their salads at the office a couple of weeks ago. And I just wanted to retry it because it was actually good. And Lord and behold, it was good. So I will be eating there more often or until I get another bad taste of their menu. But with that said, let's get into today's video. Somewhere along the way, we stopped dreaming and started starving. Every morning feels like waking up inside of a life you never really chose. They told us to work hard, stay loyal, to believe, but all it did was build a wage cage. And now you're picking your pockets clean while too tired to even fight back. That being too tired element of a lot of these scripts that ChatGPT creates is such a recurring element in the way that it writes because it is true. I mean, we want to believe that this can't possibly be built right into the system. But in my opinion, exhaustion is part of the system. I mean, right now, I've literally worked since the moment I got up this morning. I started working here. And if you guys are wondering why some of these videos aren't animated anymore, the last couple of them that I've made, it's because I ran out of credits. Apparently, it's not unlimited. I generated a couple of images that were very elaborate and it took the prompts to a very high level. I was wondering why it was taking 15 minutes to create one animated video, and apparently I can't put as much detail as I want into a 5-second AI generated video. So I had to learn my lesson. I generated too hard and I ran out of credits. So that's why things aren't animated. They will be animated starting tomorrow, of course, when my time on the servers resets. Because I'm on a monthly subscription, but they asked me if I wanted to triple the cost of my monthly subscription to be able to get more server time. I guess this is the way these things work. All right. Let's get into talking point number one. They don't accidentally underpay you, overwork you, or strip away benefits. It's intentional. You're being drained of your time, your energy, and your dreams to keep a broken system profitable for the people at the top. Boy, if your butt didn't pucker up right there on that one, I don't know how you made it through that. Because to steal your dreams and steal your future is what corporate America is about. They know their workers can't go on vacation or take a day off or unplug from the machine for more than 24 hours at a time. They know that we don't have the money to go somewhere else. They know we can't quit. They know that our vacations are spent sitting at home waiting for work to start. Every year I have to take my vacation time at Thanksgiving and at Christmas because the factory doesn't stop. None of these jobs stop. In fact, I was trying to get a time in which I could come in and work on one of the servers in the server room. And I asked the people in the office, it's like, well, are you guys going to be off this weekend? And they just looked at me like, are you stupid? The weekends are when we make money here. And so I was just like left in a position where, like, okay, I can't come in and work on any of this stuff during the week because you guys want to stay open till 8 o'clock. And on weekends, there's no window other than waiting till the middle of the night to come in and work. And I told my boss flat out yesterday, I'm not getting up super early to come in and work on these machines before the office opens up, and I'm definitely not going to be working here until the middle of the night, not knowing full well whether or not this stuff is going to actually work. That's the problem when you work in a sketchy place. It's not nothing's new. And so they repurpose everything. And so when you repurpose everything, that means that the possibility of something not working is very high. And once you dismantle something and you need to put it back, that's time it's going to take to come back. And there's always the possibility that it may not come back the way that it was before. Sometimes old technology gets strange, and there's no older technology. I remember the first time I got a call from a manufacturer telling me that one of my pieces of equipment was 8 years old that was sitting in the closet. And I'm like, wow, yeah, I mean, there should be money to replace that stuff. But some of these businesses, no matter how much money they make, they want to run like they have no money. And that's exactly the way that I feel about wages. The corporations always want to run like there's no money. Like, and I said this to someone the other day. It's like they'll waste $2,000 to save a dime. That's how these places run. So when it comes to efficiency, there's only so much of it in certain places. But when it comes to reducing its costs, it's always the people. Get rid of three people and give those three jobs to another person that can't leave. All right. Talking point number two. Um, Pensions, Social Security, affordable housing, they're vanishing faster than anyone wants to admit. The plan isn't to secure your future, it's to bleed you dry before you even get there. I felt that so badly. Like when they announced that they were going to take away Social Security benefits and force you to come into the office to prove that you're alive, I felt like that was such a scam. The same way that they put unemployment benefits behind a 20-year-old website that can't handle more than two people at a time and then try to have you bare knuckle box the person next to you to try to get $200 of unemployment benefits after you lose your job here in Arizona. And sadly, those unemployment benefits haven't gone up since the year 2009. Since 2009, Arizona will only offer you $200 a week. Not enough to eat, not enough to pay rent, and just enough to say, oh, we're trying to help people. The government doesn't want to help anyone that's not rich. There's no social safety net for people who aren't rich. If you lose your job and you can't find another one that pays equal, then you're going to go into the dumpster because we don't have a system that was built with redundancy to help people. Just driving my car from here to Walmart this afternoon after doing cardio, I must have passed at least 10 people that were just on the side of the street with their shopping carts, just looking around like, when's the help going to come? Inside of the Walmart store itself, there were so many dirt poor people walking around. It's almost as bad inside the Walmart as it is in the 99-cent store right next door. Like yesterday, I went just to go look around and see what was in the 99-cent store because those shelves are starting to look pretty bare. And there wasn't anything worth buying. But man, the people that were in there, I mean, you could just tell these are the people that are going to the food banks, people that are skipping meals, people that aren't doing great. And as more and more people become part of that group, that's what the most frightening thing is today when the Epic Economist was talking about which items are going to be affected by the tariffs. It's everything from food to car parts to everything we need to live is going to be affected by tariffs. So even in the video's title, he's like, there may be an element of people who may not be able to afford to eat. And there's no way of getting out of it unless they make a severe backward turn towards turning off the tariffs. The likelihood that some people aren't going to make it. I mean, there's already certain businesses that have decided that they, without the cheap labor from China, that they can't function. They can't get what they need, and therefore they can't be a business anymore. But when that starts affecting everyone equally, even the corporations themselves, even the retailers themselves, it's like, how are you supposed to survive if you're going to have to raise prices so high and then pass those costs onto your customers? And your customers already look like that, like the Walking Dead, like people who aren't doing too hot, and you're going to make their lives even more miserable intentionally because you think you're doing the right thing. I mean, I agree with the epic economist in the sense that we should have never started trading with China in the first place. But creating a dependency like this is disastrous. Talking point number 3. Hard work doesn't guarantee success anymore, if it ever did. It guarantees exhaustion. The people selling the dream already cashed out, and now they're selling you survival while calling it opportunity. You have the opportunity to be poor. You have the opportunity to work at a dead end job with no future, no career, no benefits, and the fact that they could fire you at any moment. And that being fired at any moment really bothers me because they expect you to be professional and give 2 weeks. Unless they decide to fire you, and then there's nothing professional about it. They walk up to you, tell you you don't work here, and you're out. But if you don't give a 2 week notice, you're such a piece of crap at the office. It's like, how could you do this? Are you going to train your replacement? No. Once people leave a job, they left for a good reason. And this brings me to another point that your employer always asks for references when they're going to give you employment. But if you ask them, why did the last person leave? Because they were mistreated, burnout, low pay, verbally abused, toxic work environments, they're all there. I mean, I'm going to end up having to replace my Gen Z for a fourth time pretty soon. And that's just the way it is. Low paying jobs are places where people don't go to gain experience. They don't go there to gain new skills. They don't go there to upskill themselves. They go there to run on the hamster wheel. There's no chance that that job will ever become anything more than a dead end job. The Gen Z is a McDonald's job. Every week, they pay you with a Happy Meal with a toy inside of it. There's no chance for career advancement or wage increases. It's just a job. And I've explained this to so many people while working in retail, call centers, and warehouses is that this isn't a job. This is an internment camp. There's nothing here for you. You're not going to someday wake up and get that big promotion and become an executive. Those people have jobs in which they are almost entitled to them based on connections, who they went to school with, who your family is. Those jobs, the upper tier jobs, they don't hire people from Indeed. They don't put that job next to a car washer or a dishwasher or serving food at a Chipotle. No, The good jobs in our society are for a select few of very polished individuals, people who already have money. And that's the thing that really, really grinds my gears is that they put prosperity, opportunity so far away from you that you can never get there. You're not going to work your way into a top tier job. If you're working at the drive through right now, or you're stocking shelves, or you're cleaning the floor, that's where you're going to end up. Because I used this analogy the other day for something else. Water rises to its own level. If you're a person that's making minimum wage or $20 or less right now, you've risen to the top. That's all someone's going to pay you. You're not going to mysteriously wake up and find yourself making $25 or $30. It just doesn't happen. If you had the skill set to make that more money, you wouldn't be in your current job. And that's why I try to find ways in which I try to learn something new that I can use in order to be able to make money. It's the whole reason why I decided to start to look into animation for my YouTube channel, because there's a lot of stuff out there that can be learned, but you have to be able to know how to do it. It's like learning computers. If you use a computer every day, that doesn't make you a computer tech. It's like driving a car every day. I drive a car every day to work and home, but if it broke down in the middle of the street or anything, if it just stopped working, there's nothing that I could do other than push it to the side of the road and call AAA. That's that's all I would know how to do. And you just kind of like, that's the way that some people are with their jobs. If you get fired from this job, all you can do is push yourself over to the curb and try to find something. But you're not going to just, no one's going to be so enthusiastic about hiring you that you're going to go from a $15 an hour job to a $25 an hour job. If you could make that money, you would already be making it. But that's just the way that things are. And it sucks because the opportunity and the lack of upward mobility in our society is something that is extremely dangerous, in my opinion. Because, in a sense, you're earning the money to the highest level of your aptitude unless you're underemployed, which I'm going to say a vast majority of workers right now who have to take any job are underemployed. And corporations love hiring underemployed workers because they can just pay them less. You know, who cares if you went to college? What do you know? What skills do you have that on day one you can use in order to be a person that generates more income for a corporation? And the answer to that question is usually nothing, because you have a liberal arts degree like myself. All right, let's get to this. They think they've broken us, that if they steal enough of our time, our health, and our hope, we'll forget we were ever meant for more. But the truth is, even the rubble of everything they took, there's still something they can't touch. The future doesn't belong to them, it belongs to whoever's willing to rebuild it. And trust me, it won't be built by one who's sold it off for profit. Reminds me of a bumper sticker of a construction worker that I read probably a year ago. And on it, it said, "I'm not going to build a city that I can't afford to live in." And that's what the proletariat has come to. They ask us to sacrifice ourselves in ways in which it doesn't benefit us. The money isn't there. The chance for a better life isn't there. It isn't so much about the American dream anymore than it is about the American nightmare. Every morning when I wake up, especially tomorrow morning, and I open my eyes and I look around and I'm still poor, I don't see the point of continuing this. Like, at some, I don't know what to call it. There should be some line in the sand that you that you have to cross, in which you say to yourself, I can't do this anymore. I can't keep going back to a job that I can't afford to work at. And for the vast majority, the 99% can't afford to work at these jobs. But guess what? Desperation keeps us going back and keeps us producing record profits for the corporations that don't believe that we're even human.